Hey eLeap students, this is your librarian Adriana, and today for this video I'm going to be walking you through your information literacy quiz for the semester. I don't like to spring this stuff on folks, so I figured I'd walk you through all of the questions and give you some guidance, instruction, hopefully answer any concerns or questions you might have about them. So let's start from the top. Question 1. The following examples provide the same citation in three citation styles. We've got APA, IEEE, and MLA citations styles. So you'll notice that the same information is present in all three of these styles. It's just arranged in a slightly different order based on kind of the priorities of the different disciplines or fields of study that use these citation styles. So let me walk you through at least one of them, just so you know what each of these components that are in all of the citation styles are. First, we have the author's name. You might see multiple authors, followed by the publication date. Here you'll find that an IEEE under in the bottom here. Whoops, and same with MLA. But in APA, we put that first because currency is kind of a big deal. So then we've got two titles. The first title here is, and this will be italicized, or I'm sorry, this will not be italicized. The next title will be. Anyhow, this is the title of the article, followed by the title of the journal. The reason I can tell the difference here, it's a little bit easier in the following two citations where we've got the article title in quotation marks, and in APA you would see the journal title italicized. So the way I can tell the difference is journal titles are going to be a lot more succinct and a little bit less wordy, communication research, versus this title, When Fake News Becomes Real, combined exposure to multiple news sources and political attitudes of inefficacy, alienation, and cynicism. That is a mouthful. It would be a really long journal title too. So ideally, you'll be able to kind of just tell based on how specific an article title is compared to the journal title. Following the journal title, here we've got the volume and issue numbers, and then page numbers. So we can find these here as well. But APA doesn't identify the volume for you. So our citations here refer to what? A journal article, not a newspaper article. Usually you'll be able to tell based on the title of the journal or the newspaper, like the New York Times versus, in this example, communication research. Question number 2. Again, we've got three citation formats for the same source, and you're supposed to determine what these citations refer to. So we've got, let's just go component by component. Here we have the author name, publication date, and a title. Because there's only one title, that tells me that I am not looking at either a journal article or a newspaper article. Chances are pretty good I'm also not looking at a website, but we'll figure that out as we go. So the following component then is the place of publication, right here, and then the publisher. So this should clue us into it not being a website. And we will actually select book here. So for books, you'll always see a publication location and the name of the publisher. Question number 3. How can you determine if someone is an authority on the ethics of genetic editing. Option 1, they use technical jargon that is hard to understand unless you know the subject well. Well, that might be the case. Technical jargon is an indicator that you're looking at something that was written by somebody who knows jargon and likes to use it, but it doesn't really tell us if they're an authority on a specific subject. Option 2, other journal articles on the topic cite their work. This is a really good indicator that you're looking at somebody who is an authority, because other articles or sources of information are looking to them as an important source. So I've selected that. They have their own website and many followers on Twitter. That's kind of neither here nor there, whether somebody's an authority or not. I could have my own website and many followers on Twitter and just be an influencer, but not necessarily an authority on the ethics of genetic editing. They've got a PhD in business. PhDs are fancy and important, and if they're relevant to what you are looking at as a topic. So for this example, PhD in business is not going to be particularly relevant to the ethics of genetic editing, unless it has something really specific to do with business. But as far as I can tell for this example, it does not. So I'm going to keep this other journal articles on the topic cite their work selected, because that is a really good indicator that you're looking at somebody who is an authority, if other scholars have cited them. All right, question 4. When we evaluate information, which of the following are important? Whether the topic is current, the author's degrees, the location of where the source is found, all of the choices are important, or the credibility of the source and authors. So I'm going to give this one to you and let you know that all of these choices are important. Sometimes a little bit more or less than others, but generally for the research that you'll be doing for this course, if the topic is current, that's pretty important. Or if the source is current, that's pretty important to topics that would impact like sustainability and waste. The author's credentials are important because that will tell us if they have particular knowledge about the subject. The location of where the source is found. This one's kind of a strange one because location might cue to some of us like physical location, but it could also be an online location. Basically, like, what is the origin of your source? And if that source is reputable. So, like the journal that an article is published in, is that a reputable source or resource, for scholars in this field? And then the credibility of the source and authors, I'd say that's pretty important, whether an author is credible or reliable or an authority. So all of these choices are important. I hope that makes some sense. Question 5. If someone claims that eating raw chicken cures disease, gross, which of the following would be the best source to determine the veracity of this claims? All right. It's in the New York Times. It is in a local news source like KSL.com. It is in the Journal of the American Medical Association, or it is on a self-published blog or a Facebook post. All right, so let's take a look at all these different sources. The New York Times is a great, relevant source of information. However, it's not going to always tell us about like the veracity of this claim. It might. It might just report that the claim has been made and by whom and where. but it may not shake out for us whether it's truthful or not. Same with other news sources that are local. With a self-published blog or Facebook post, we're going to be a little, I hope, skeptical because there are no editors looking at that information if it's self-published or on Facebook or on a blog or whatever. So for this question, the Journal of the American Medical Association is the best choice because it's going to test the veracity of the claim, right? It's not going to just say this claim was made. It will say who said it, why they said it, and what information that they discovered through their own research or through the research of others that led them to make that claim. So that will help us to establish veracity or truthfulness. Question 6. Which of the following best describes the research process? The research process is a one and done process in which there is no need to revisit any previous steps. The research process is a recursive process, in other words, like a cyclical process, in which a researcher returns to previous steps to review synthesis and conclusions from acquired information and knowledge, or it all depends on the situation. I'm going to say most of the time the research process is a recursive process where you're going to revisit previous steps to check out what your synthesis and conclusions are. So it can depend on the situation, but usually you're not going to be lucky enough to get a one and done kind of process. So I like to say that it's cyclical or recursive because you'll revisit some of the steps multiple times. For example, you might pick a research topic and begin looking into it and then decide, I think I want to change my research topic. Or you pick a topic, you begin looking into it, and you find a bunch of information, you start reviewing it and determine there's still gaps in your information. So you've got to go back and search for more information. Or as you're synthesizing, or what's another word for synthesizing? Putting together all of your sources, and you, again, could determine there are gaps in information or that your conclusions don't align, you might have to revisit this step to resynthesize or adjust your conclusions. So, on to our next question. We are so close. If you need a brain break, this might be an amazing time to go to YouTube and look up hamster burritos. Trust me on this one. Not burritos made with hamster meat, but burritos made for hamsters. It's such a good video. Anyway, question 7. I hope I paused long enough there and kind of muttered a lot so that you could take a brain break if you wanted to. I hope you're all back with me. All right, question 7. Is it okay for you to use ideas of another person in a research paper? I'm going to give you this answer without a whole lot of fuss. If you give them credit, it's okay. You can always refer to other researchers or existing articles for stuff that isn't like that you can't just answer on your own with information that lives in your brain already, citation free. So only if you give them credit refers to citations. A lot of the time, I think that we get kind of wrapped up in the fear that we might have that we're plagiarizing. And so that's why many professors will say, don't plagiarize, be sure to give credit. But I think that the more important job of citations is that it gives you some breadcrumbs for you or others to review the information that you use to arrive at your conclusions. So give credit because you are one of many voices in a big scholarly conversation. And we want to give you credit and we want to give your sources credit. Question 8. In a research project, you have to cite your sources when they are cut and pasted directly from a source. Yes. From a scholarly journal. Yes. All of the choices. Yes. Ideas from an original source, but restated in my own words, aka paraphrased. Yes. So all of the choices is the correct answer. Question 9. An abstract is best described as a concise synopsis or a summary of a whole article. Abstracts kick ass because you can figure out what a whole article or book or source is about without reading the entire thing. If you do determine based on that summary or abstract that it's relevant and in alignment with your research needs, then you should definitely pursue those sources. Question 10. Which of the following statements regarding research is true? I'm going to read all of the options because it would be silly to just leave off with all the statements are true, but surprise, they are all true. Research values the process of constructing knowledge. Wow, that is such a cool idea and thing to acknowledge as scholars yourselves, that we value the process of building new knowledge. That's what you all are doing every time you write a research paper or create some kind of research product. Even annotated bibliographies, you are constructing knowledge. Research is flexible and adapts to its subject. It's very true. Research builds upon other research, is ongoing, and seeks to be self-reflective. Facts. All right. Question 11. Which is the best way to think about library research? Seek the insights of librarians, professors, and peers. Check, like that. Learn as you go and be willing to adapt new knowledge to your searches. An enthusiastic yes. Be persistent, accept unforeseen challenges, and don't give up. Be as persistent as you can, and if you start to feel like those challenges are a lot and you want to give up, seek the insights of librarians, professors, and peers. So, yes to this one also. And use what you already know about a topic to begin your research. True! All of those choices are correct. Question 12. You find the perfect journal article, but discover that the library doesn't subscribe to that journal. What is the next step? Option 1, pay out the $36 the publisher's site. More like $75. And always know, never spend money on research. Let your librarian or your library as a whole help you by using interlibrary loan. Do not find the author online and ask for a copy of the article unless, well, you can actually do that. Absolutely do that. But you might not get a response. So with interlibrary loan, you will always get a response. You don't have to settle for a different article. You can get additional articles, but you don't have to settle for a different one if you have found the one that's, perfect for all of your research needs. Interlibrary loan, I'm going to talk about it for just 1 second, and then we'll come back to this quiz. You can find interlibrary loan right on the main library's website. Interlibrary loan is amazing, and you do have to sign up for it if you've never used it before. So when you click that login button, it's going to prompt you to use your university ID and password, the same one that you would use for campus information systems. It's going to have you do a dual authentication thing, and then you're going to see this. So pending requests, I've got no requests, no electronically received articles, no checked out items. So I'm going to make a new request here. Here are all of the different types of media or types of information that you can submit requests for. So let's just look at the article one. And these are pretty, I think, I hope, self-explanatory. Journal article, article title, article author, volume, all of the stuff that's in red says required is required. One last thing, will you accept the item in a language other than English? The default here is yes, so if that's not the case for you, select no, and then you can submit that request. From there, you will go back to the main menu, and within potentially minutes to hours, sometimes days, usually not though, you will find it here under electronically received articles or other stuff. If you have questions about that, please reach out to me, your librarian, adriana.parker@utah.edu, and I am happy to help you to find the perfect article. So, question 13, we are so close. Thank you for sticking with me. Check it out. We only have 3 more questions. Question 13, if you perform a search in a database or on Google or anywhere and you get too few results, how can you expand your search? Add another keyword with the word and. This will actually potentially reduce the number of results you get because you're being more specific and you're saying to that search engine, I only want those results that have both of these keywords or potentially more than 2 keywords. So not and. Add another keyword with the not operator. So this could be like Mexico, not new, as in New Mexico. In this case, this will give you fewer results. Generally not gives you fewer results. Add another keyword with the or operator. So or is going to look for synonyms or related terms like cats or felines, and this will give you more results. All right. Question 14. What is a potentially useful way of thinking about the goal of student research? Gonna get a little lofty here, so stay with me. It might seem obvious. I hope it's like kind of nice if you know this one. All right, no one knows everything. We advance our knowledge through collective review and effort. Yes. I just pointed at my computer while I did that. Individual education is valuable. Yes. Participating in the greater community of researchers helps everyone. Facts. All of these are potentially useful. And the final question. If research is a conversation, and it is, what aspects of the conversation are we looking for? Information that fits in with my a priori beliefs. So these are like your deduced beliefs. Maybe. Let's see. The spectrum of positions about the body of research that I am contributing to. Because research is a conversation, we would like to look at a spectrum of positions, not just information that fits with your position or your existing beliefs, or that will give you like confirmation bias, aka that supports your argument or claim. Unless you're writing a persuasive paper or something, you ideally would like to show a comprehensive overview of all of the different positions about the body of research that you're contributing to. So that's it. Then you'll submit your quiz. You will be taking this quiz both at the beginning and the end of the semester to see your growth. And that's it. If you have any questions, again, please contact me, your librarian. You can reach me at Adriana, ADRIANA Parker. I'll type it up here, ADRIANA Parker at utah.edu. Ta-da! That's it. Thank you for your attention and your patience, and I hope to hear from you soon if you have any questions. Bye-bye.